up, everybody? Here again. Let's talk. Let's get better. How's everybody today? Talked to y'all yesterday. Put a little video out about my brother's fundraiser. And the guys, that reached out to me and so on and so forth. But I promised the story. So I wanted to kind of go with one that it's not funny, but in the end it's kind of cool. Looking back now, anyway. But probably I don't know, 2010, 89 maybe. I went to a building fire, and it happened to be an abandoned sewing factory in my town. And everybody is taught as a young child that if a building's on fire, smoke rises, heat rises, what do? You get low. And I won't name no names or any of that stuff because you don't know them anyways. I just won't put people on blast like that. So I go into this building. I'm second, I believe, engine, and I'm walking. I go in and there's people walking, which to the normal person sounds fine. However, you can't not walk in the middle of the floor when you're in a fire situation. Goes to fire, you don't know where it's at, which was the case. We didn't know where it was at. We had a lot of heat, but we couldn't find the fire. And that sounds stupid, but it happens more than you think. So I get these people, but I'm like, come on guys, what are you doing? You gotta quit. Don't be stupid anymore. I mean, it's something you should. You're taught that in the basics of firefighting. You're not supposed to do that. So I walk along the right side, which would be the B side of the building. So if you're looking at it, A is the front, the address side. To the right, B, C, D, so and so forth. Well, there's only 4. I get everybody, there was probably about 4 of them. And we still can't find this fire. I mean, we're using a thermal imaging camera. And we have heat in the floor, which is another scary thing, which is why I said about getting against the wall, because we have heat in the floor, fire's below us. What's going to happen? We hit a soft spot. We're going to go boop. So, I have a water can, and they have pipe bowls, and I'm pretty certain I had a set of irons too. Now let me explain what these are. A water can is 2.5 gallons of water. A pipe bowl is a long pole, probably 6 feet long or so. I think they're 7 foot, maybe 8. And that's for, demolition. It's not what you think though. When you're in a fire and you can feel heat in a wall, or you pick up heat with your thermal imaging camera, you can use a pipe bowl. You pull the drywall off, and you pull, the wood underneath it, whatever, to find the fire so you can extinguish it, because it's not going to come through if it's burning up the wood on the inside. It will eventually, but you catch it early enough, you're going to pull that stuff apart. Or you use it for the ceiling, and you poke into the ceiling and make sure the roof doesn't have soft spots, or there's a fire up in the roof. Either way, a set of irons is a Halligan bar and an axe. And I had the Halligan bar, which is like a big crowbar looking thing. It has a fork on one end, like a crowbar. And on the other end has a pry bar and a point. It's a pick. It's in an L shape. So I have a water can in this Halligan bar, and the other firefighter lot of heat in the floor on the B side. So we went in on the A. I got everybody against the B side, Bravo side of the building. And then we go to the D side. So you effectively make a square. Greatest we got probably 3 feet back along the A side again, which is now mind you, in front of the building. I forget what she said, but I just turned around and I see her in a hole. Like, she moved off of her knee and put weight on her left foot. Or, I'm sorry, the right. Either way, one of her feet. And there was a soft spot. So she fell to the floor, and the fire, we found the fire then. The fire come up around her. And I had, like I mentioned earlier, a 2.5 gallon water can. So you can effectively manage a room and contents fire, which is basically like a living room, for a certain amount of time without a handline. You're not going to do it forever, but a good truck crew, a good truck operations guy can manage a room and contents fire, which is all they have. When you do truck operations, that's all you have. You don't have a handline. The hose company will follow you, but what a truck's primary responsibility, I'm going to say, is search and rescue. You go into a building, a house, for example, and not everybody come out. You know that their parents, for example, said, my kid's in there. So your primary objective is to find that child. They do the truck guys. I gotta give them credit. I mean, I'm a volunteer guy, but the career guys, the paid guys, we call them career guys. They go through the same training we do, and we go through the same training they do. The difference is they get paid. We do it because we like helping people. So the truck company is search and rescue, and I'm deviating from the point here. Or from the story, I'm sorry, but I'll get back to it in a second because it's kind of important for you to understand. The truck company finds a child or whoever is an adult and effectively carry him out, drag him out. You do whatever you got to do to get him out of that building. Save lives and property. That's your objective. Lives first, property second. So I have this water can. Like I'm running truck operations, and I don't even know. I don't want to make myself look stupid, but I probably am. There's a lot of guys out there, if they do watch this, they're going to be like, you stupid son of a. But there had to be a reason that I can't offer to life to be remembered. I had this water can, and I contained. Now, mind you, it was only a 2 foot by 2 foot hole, and I contained this fire long enough. I should have had water in this hand line that's laying beside me. And it was probably maybe 2-3 minutes. If that. But it feels and seems like an eternity when you're in that situation. So I'm yelling on the radio, and I don't even know at this point if I can key the radio because I have, your radio, it's a lapel mic, it's on your lapel. And I'm screaming into this radio and say, Mayday, but I don't know if I just didn't hear it or if they, I wasn't can't like right or whatever, but I didn't hear a response. I still had no water. So I take her and try to pull her out of the hole, and all this is going on. I don't remember anybody coming over to give us a hand. It's like, where everybody at? I wasn't thinking about it at the time, but afterwards I'm like, where'd everybody go? Like, really? Nobody's gonna help? Like, what's going on here? So I get her up out of the hole, which she did a lot of it herself. She's a very experienced firefighter. I have a lot of respect for her, and there's a couple female firefighters in our area, or our department even, and they're very good at what they do. They know their stuff. They're not, just because they're women, I don't want nobody to they're women, they get now. No, if those girls egress points as far as where they were at in the building, which an egress point is an exit point. You always want to make sure you know where they're at, because you can get into a fire. Like we could see in this building. That doesn't happen all the time. A lot of times, the only thing you can see is that thermal imaging camera, and it's right in front of your face. And that's a thermal. It's, you know, like I said, it's like have you ever watched TV where they have like ghost hunters, for example? I don't want to copyright nothing. I don't know that that's nothing for them, but they use a thermal camera. I pulled her, she pulled herself, whatever. And we get her out, and I finally get water. And the funny part is, nobody tried to extinguish the fire with the hose. To me, it's funny. It wasn't funny then, but the way it happened was, it's not that it was intentional. It was like, at this point, everybody's trying to, oh my God, Mayday, like, she fell through, but they don't realize that she really essentially got herself out. I was more just in the middle of it, I guess. But at the time, I'm like, man, I can't, this girl's not going to fall through this floor. And to be honest with you, I was just like scared to death. And a lot of guys aren't like, I shouldn't say guys, a lot of people aren't like this. They can't, like, function. When you're in a pressure situation like that one, you're trained to deal with it. You go through immense hours upon hours upon hours of technical training for everything. Any situation that you're in that can turn real bad real fast, and that can happen like that. But you go through all this training, and when that point comes to where you're in a very, very high pressure situation, it's like you just, you don't even think, you act, you just do. Which is, a lot of people can't do that. They freeze up or, whatever. And that's just me, and everybody, that's just the way we're built, I guess. I don't freak out, it's weird, but in a high pressure situation, my heart rate actually goes down, and my respirations go down. You don't realize it at the time, but when I was going to the doctor for different things, that that's what I would put on like a stress test, for example. It's physical, but if you go through some sort of scenario that they work with you on, as far as you're getting your adrenaline flowing and you're all hyped up, my heart rate went down. Not a lot, but it did. So, it wasn't like real. It didn't spike. It slowly lowered, along with my blood pressure, respirations, things like that. Well, I guess I should probably get back to the story. We get her out of the hole, and they do just, eventually extinguish the fire. Me and her go outside, and that's pretty much what I remember. I fell down. I guess maybe I passed out a little bit, whatever, because I was. There's a lot of exertion when you're trying to pull somebody out of a hole. You gotta remember, we have all this gear on, and an air pack and face piece, and these tanks are, normal respirations, normal breathing. They're supposed to be 60 minutes of air. And that's not always the case, because depending on your size, what you're doing, how you're moving, what you're dragging around, you could be dragging a human being out, not be able to carry them, and use a whole tank of air in 5 minutes if you're really, really exerting a lot of force, which is what I did. That's why it's kind of comical, because I used almost a whole tank of air in that 3 to 7 minute span. Because I was, like I said, I calmed down. I did in that time. I was pretty scared. So we find out later, and this is the comical part, the silver lining. Thank God it did. The back of the building, from the floor to the basement, which it really wasn't a basement, it was just like there was really no entry point. It was just a foundation, and I don't even remember seeing like a Bilko door or a man door or anything. But the back side of that was like 10 feet, and the front side where she happened to fall through, if she didn't put her has kind of like a dry sense of humor, I guess, so to speak, you know, from a firefighter standpoint. Something like that, at least to me. And she was pretty, she kind of chuckled as well, but you never know, but it was funny. And in the end, it was kind of comical. But I'm glad she's okay. I'm glad we were both okay. And nothing drastic did happen. But that's just one story for you today. One, you know, how fast things can change. I mean, within tenth thousandths of a second. So, respect everybody. Be nice. Be kind. Help people when they need it. Trust me, because you never know when you're going to need it. Tomorrow I'll be back with you on a little video about what's called a flashover. Now, flashovers are common, but they're not. You normally have what's called a rollover. I'll explain all that tomorrow. But basically, when it gets hot, real fast, you better either hit some fire or leave, because shit's about to go down. But I will have that story for tomorrow. So you guys be kind. Love each other. Let's talk. Let's get better. You need help, reach out. You guys have a good day.